Welcome back to our ethical farm, Stardew Zoo. This is our latest zoo in Planet Zoo based around kind of like the idea and buildings of Stardew Valley, and it seems like you guys really love this, so I figured let's take it up a notch. Of course, this idea was brought to fruition by the Barnyard Animal Pack for Planet Zoo, so if you haven't had the time to check that out yet, I really suggest you do. In today's episode, we're finishing our little farm island in the middle of this river over here. We're adding so many different buildings that you guys might recognize from the game, and so many wonderful animals to boot. So without further ado, welcome back to Stardew Zoo. In our last episode of Stardew Zoo, we got started on a lovely chicken habitat. We made a beautiful little pond for our native swans. We even made Pam's bus from the bus stop, and we also made a whole lot of different fields for various crops that we would grow and sell right in the farm over here. But what happens if we want to grow some bananas or some other tropical plants? Well, once we say complete the pantry bundle, we can pop right over and build ourselves a greenhouse. This greenhouse is perfect for growing a whole lot of different crops because I made it so that we have a lovely watering system, sprinkler system in here that's always watering our plants so that they always stay happy and hydrated. I also wanted to add a whole bunch of different details in here, like pitchforks, other various gardening tools, some planters, and some just various lumber pieces to really help this come alive. I even added that little sink that you can actually see in the back of the real greenhouse in Stardew Valley. I really wanted to incorporate that as well. Beyond that, once we actually got it all done, you can see how beautiful it looks over here, and it's gonna sit nestled right above our chicken habitat, and we'll be able to have our guests come up and visit it. Now, I figured I would be remiss if I did not include a little something extra in this greenhouse, so I figure let's throw some butterflies in here. Basically, how I was able to achieve this, we used the walkthrough habitat that was introduced with the Twilight Pack, and we throw in every single butterfly we can in here, and look at them populating this space. Now, admittedly, it is a little cheaty how I did this. If we look below the ground, we could actually see a million different butterflies that are just hiding in some bushes that are strategically placed under the greenhouse. But we could still see a whole bunch of them flying above there and making this greenhouse really come to life. Now, with all of this food being grown, I figured we would need to actually add a restaurant in here. So using the restaurant facility introduced to the game some time ago, I recreated the Stardrop Saloon so Gus could get back to work selling all of those lovely foods that he makes. Also, Pam really was starting to complain about not having beer. Whoops. I absolutely adore how well this building came out. I used some of these really beautiful brick pieces to build the exterior, and I even added a few little leafy touches around, even adding some outdoor seating so that guests can come over and actually eat in the beautiful outdoors that this farm has. We even have this little storage area over to the right, kind of like you see in the real one. Now, the interior is not even close to the size of what we see in-game, but I think you guys might be able to forgive me for that. Look how beautiful this looks, even at night. Now, we've been working all this time and we have not put in a new animal, so I figure, why not actually throw in some donkeys? I feel like that would be a really awesome thing to include in here. One of the biggest game changers in Stardew Valley is when you finally unlock your horse and you're able to zip around the map in no time at all. So I figure for our donkey friends, why don't we recreate their little stall right here? And since we have a whole bunch of them, we can just take that same stall and duplicate it a couple of times so each one of our donkey friends has their own little stall. Now, since their habitat is a little bit sunken in, I really wanted to go crazy with the rock work as well. So I'm using a whole lot of different techniques in here, including mixing faux rocks with real rocks, to give a little bit more of a different look than you'd normally get with the rocks in game. This way, I'm able to create these beautiful barriers and really make it feel like it's really nestled within the surrounding landscape. And then right after that, I get back to work on working on some foliage, easily my favorite part of working on these habitats. It really goes such a long way to be able to add some living, breathing elements to the habitat that aren't just the animals. That little splash of green or even yellow sometimes can really help a habitat stand out. Now with the habitat almost complete, I figured we needed a little bit of a weenie to look at. Typically what a weenie is a element in theme park design that really helps to captivate your eye, usually something that's very familiar to you that you just walk towards, kind of like Cinderella's castle or the Hollywood Studios tower. In this case, I really wanted to recreate the player home of Stardew Valley. Now, not the entirely upgraded player home because I just don't have a connection with that, but once you load into your game and you finally step outside of that player house that you get at the start, I really wanted to recreate that house right there, and that's what I did. Now, this house in-game looks so lovely, and I'm so happy with how well it came out, but the issue is, it has no purpose in game, so let me know if you guys have any ideas of what purpose we could kind of give the player house in Stardew Zoo. My usual default is to just turn it into a bathroom or something, but hey, let me know if you guys have a better idea. And since bathrooms are typically pigsties, let's get to work on housing our pigs. You like that? I'm the king of transitions right over there. What I'm working on right now is a lovely mud pit for our Tamworth pigs. Such an elegant name for such an unelegant little animal, but I still do love these guys. What I'm doing over here is trying to hide our mud pits in with a whole bunch of different decals. But once again, after a little bit of mud work, a little bit of rock work, and a little bit more foliage work, this habitat turned out fantastic. And I even did a little bit of work on the outside of the habitat as well to really help this really settle in, really make Stardew Zoo start to feel like a town rather than, you know, just a Planet Zoo project. I absolutely love this little fountain feature that we added right here, kind of like the fountain right next to the community center. I figured it would be a perfect little addition right here as a nice big gathering space in front of the Stardrop Saloon, where all of our visitors can kind of just enjoy the festivities of the night. And from there, I figured, you know what? That's gonna tie up the episode for the main features, but I still wanted to add a whole bunch of different things in here. One of my favorite additions as well, and you can find this right next to the community center, is the little playground that we made. This is a fantastic modular blueprint set by the fantastic Just Goron, so if you guys want to make your own style of this, here's the link for it in the description right down below. Not only that, but we also got to work on 6 new crop fields. We have fields now for watermelons and tomatoes. We have one for all different kinds and shapes of pumpkins. We have one for potatoes, one for cauliflowers, and one for corn. Not only that, but the outside of our zoo is being worked on as well, with the entire perimeter of our island being covered by beautiful, beautiful reeds to really help build up a nice little swampy flair around the edges of the river. There are so many little details that I just loved building in here, especially all those decorations around the farm fields, adding in all of those barrels, crates, even the cardboard boxes that people would kind of just fill up with all their vegetables and fruits. I found that to be absolutely so fun to build for. One of my other favorite parts over here is this little picnic area where we can see some people have started to set up a picnic in this little grassy hill right behind the swan pond. We have another fantastic blueprint as well, being Haribo's Gazebo. It stands so beautifully in between all of these crop fields that it just makes it the most serene, most peaceful place to be in the farm so far. And there we have it, a fantastic little farm. We now have 2 new resident animals in here with the Tamworth pig and the American standard donkey, and our guests are so happy with everything we have for them now. It just feels like home. But looking forward, we have 2 more sections, 2 more episodes I want to complete. Those being the forested area with all Native American animals like skunks, raccoons, otters. There, I have plans to build the Wizard's Tower and the traveling cart. And to the left, we also have our beautiful open fields where we're gonna have so many of our Barnyard Animal Pack animals be able to traverse these beautiful landscapes, these rolling hills. I can't wait to build for that. But I know it's been so long since our last episode of Stardew Zoo, and this series does take a lot of time to work on. And I want to thank you guys for stopping by in the first place, for checking out episode 2 of Stardew Zoo. I know you hear all of the YouTubers say it, but if you did enjoy the video, please consider dropping a like. This project took so long, and I really want to make sure that if you guys did like it, it really does show. Even consider dropping a subscribe if you can. Look at that, it just glowed up. Isn't that crazy? But we are so close to 25,000 subscribers, and I just can't wait to see that number get bigger with even more members of the Leaf Pile. I hope you all have the most wonderful of wonderful days, and I can't wait to see you all in the next episode of Stardew Zoo. Take care, and bye-bye.